The Unit 3 component is typically most of us personal trainers will be working in gyms these days, but it still makes you think about if you weren't going to be working inside a gym. So you've got to think about risk assessments, accident reports, you've got to think about health and safety, and you've got to think about legislation. So this unit really does go through some of the key areas what we need to think about as personal trainers. We need to think about behavioural changes, why we might not be able to do a training session, and this is what the unit really does go through really well. The main component of the Unit 3 then works through the assessment guidelines. So it tells you in all the details about our training methods, what we have to do before, during, after our workout as well. So we fill out a consultation, so a questionnaire. We then have to fill out a little bit of details about their nutrition. And then we look at assessment criteria as well. So these have to be based on the client's goals. So let's take an example. So if someone was looking to lose weight, the assessment criteria would be potentially you take their weight, you calculate their BMI, you take their body fat percentage if that was their criteria, you'd maybe take measurements. It wouldn't be something like a 2.4 kilometre run, because if their goal wasn't to improve fitness, that isn't applicable. It maybe wouldn't be a 1 rep max, because again, if their goal isn't to improve strength, maybe it isn't applicable to your client. If there is, you can do them sort of styles of assessments. But as you can see there, you have a beginning and an end date as well. So the assessment date would be today if we were doing an assessment. The review date would be in 8 weeks' time. We then fill out a PAR-Q, an informed consent, and then we look at our SMART goals. So our SMART goals have to be short, medium and long term. And typically a short term goal would be looking for a 4 to 8 week period. A medium would be looking at a 12 to 24 week, and then a long term is 24 to 48 weeks. So we're looking at just under a year, around a year would be a long term goal. The reason why we do short, medium and long term goals is to give people realistic opportunity to achieve their results. Let's say we done a short, medium and long term goal. The short term goal was 1 week, so they had to lose 1 pound in 1 week. Their medium term goal was 4 weeks and they had to lose 4 pounds, and a long term goal was 8 to 12 weeks, they had to lose 12. The problem what we have is the goals are too close together. We have to make sure that we range goals to allow our clients to actually achieve their goals. So if we do a year, 6 months, 3 months, it does make things more achievable in the long term, rather than someone doing a crash diet, training for 2 to 3 weeks, not seeing any results, quitting, going back to normal. So they're the reasons why we do the long-term goals. If we look at them, SMART terms, so specific, measurable, obtainable. It says relevant, but I would say realistic as well, and time-based. So what we've got to think about in this form, we've got to think about what is a specific goal. Weight loss. So weight loss might be a specific goal, but what we've got to look at from the assessment criteria in the above was what is their beginning weight, what is their target weight, and what is the time span. So a good long-term goal could be specific goal, weight loss. I'm currently 100 kilos. In a year's time, I want to lose 14 kilos. So we're looking at 2 stone. So that's specific because it's a long-term goal, it's weight loss. We've then got my current weight, that's 100 kilos. We've then got the fact that I want to lose 14 kilos in 52 weeks, that's a year. So then it becomes a specific. We look at measurable then. It's measurable because we know what my current weight is, 100 kilos. We know I want to lose 14 kilos in a year, so we add that in. So measurable, we would take the weight scales. They're currently 100 kilos. They want to be 14 kilos less, equaling 86 kilos in 52 weeks. We can break that up down into weeks as well, into months, into the short term. But what we do is like a waterfall. Obtainable. So what we look at attainable is what everyone can do to achieve that result. So what I would need to do to increase the chances of me losing weight would be to increase activity, and then we'd look to potentially decrease in calorie expenditure or manipulating calorie expenditure to assist my weight loss goal. So they're two things what are attainable. The relevant or realistic point of view would be how I actually implemented the achievable goal. So if I'm not doing any workout at the moment, I'm eating really poorly at the moment, I'm not realistically going to achieve my results. But what we would need to see is the improvement of calorie expenditure and the cleaning up of the calorie absorption or a reduction of calorie absorption for me to then potentially lose weight. So that's what we're looking at for when it comes to realistic and relevant. If there's going to be no changes, the goal is not realistic. We've got the time span. So the long-term goal was 52 weeks, so 1 year. So we'd just add in time span 52 weeks, 1 year brackets. Does that make sense? We can then break that down into the medium-term goal. So potentially I could say medium-term goal, weight loss, 7 kilos in 6 months, that is 26 weeks, etc. So it works as a waterfall, breaking your way down. Same sort of thing when it comes to nutrition, but what we're looking for nutrition is basically increasing H2O per day, reducing smoking, alcohol intake, reducing high sugary processed foods, reducing drinks, etc. They're the little things what we're looking for that point of view. We then roll down to progressive program overview, and we look at what our main goal is. So the main program goal for me would be weight loss, and I'd just copy and paste from what I've put in up there. The phase goals are a little bit different. So what we could be doing is, I haven't trained for a long time, so we're looking for aerobic fitness. So the phase goals, because I haven't done training in a long time, we could maybe look to increase anaerobic output. We could also look to be improving muscular endurance, because most of us when we're starting out, we're not as fit as we used to be, and our muscles aren't as fit, so endurance is always the best place to start, just to give them foundations to build into the strength criteria. Section 3 is actually just monitoring how many training sessions you're looking to do each week. So you've got 4 sections to your left, 4 sections to your right. If we're only going to do 2 training sessions planned, you put 2, the next one will be 3, you add them up. The section 4 is actually saying what days out of that week. So we're trying to give people the structure and the guidance by pinpointing them. If you're going to be training 3 times a week, I want you to train Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you highlight them areas there. Then it goes into a different point. So now it then goes, we need you to monitor your client's progression each week. So week 1, how did your client get on? How did they adjust from not doing anything, or increasing their workload, decreasing their calorie absorption, or adjusting their calorie absorption? They're the things we're looking at. We're then looking at you to write how they partake into their workout regime. So how did they get on? What did they do? Did they go on the cross trainer for 5 minutes? What intensity did they do? Did they then do some free weights? Did they then do fixed resistance? Did they do body weight? You've got to add in. So it's quite a lot of information, but if you're seeing them on a weekly basis, you should be able to do that. This bit is in a strange location because it's actually the review after the program. So what I would say is come back to this afterwards, and then we go into our program. Our program is all about designing a routine based around your client's needs. So again, client's name, you'd place it into there, trainer's name. Client's goal, so I'd copy and paste my goal there. And like I said, it'd be weight loss. We then look at warm-up, so we've got activity there. We look at dynamic stretches, CV, and then we look at exercise routine as well. Now we're looking at the program design for level 3 personal training. As you can see, we've got safety requirements. So first things what we want to do, because we're in gym bound, is we're looking at first aid box, fire evacuation explained, first aid location, etc. Yep, special requirements for the day. What I would be doing, I'd be walking around on the gym floor beforehand, making sure that all the equipment is in use for what we want to use in that day. We'd also be checking to make sure that if there was any cleaning happening on the gym floor, anything like that. Okay. We then look at warm-up. So a warm-up, we're looking at 5 minutes. We could say 5 to 10 minutes, and we're looking at maximum heart rate between 55 and 65%. The reason why we're looking at that maximum heart rate is we don't want someone to be working too hard too soon in a warm-up. You can always use a number of different methods to make sure that you are applying that 55 to 60%. Just ask someone, how hard are you working between 1 and 10? Are they talking back to you? So if they're struggling to talk back to you, potentially they're working too hard. Or you've got your heart rate sensor or heart rate monitor on their chest, what basically works out how hard they're working for a percentage. You choose activity, so I would say walking, jogging, cross-training, rowing, you'd add the equipment, cross-trainer, treadmill, bike, etc. You then have to choose 8 dynamic stretches. You go onto your main CV workout. It can be based around trainer methods as continuous training, interval training or fartlek training. Because I haven't trained in a long time, I put continuous training. Continuous training is working ourselves between that 60 to 80% maximum heart rate, and we're working at a duration of a minimum of 20 minutes. So for me, it could be jogging and walking for that 20 minutes rather than running. Because if I was running for 20 minutes, I'd probably be working between 80 and 100 maximum heart rate, what is a little bit too much too soon. We then look at our resistance section. So in this resistance section, we have to have 2 different training methods per workout. So when we're looking at this, we have 8 different workouts. We have 8 different exercises with equipment, with sets, reps, rest period, percentage of 1 rep max, and training systems in there as well. So when we add these in, we have to make sure the training systems work with the rep sets, rest period, and the percentage of 1 rep max. We work down to the cool down, which is obviously working ourselves backwards from the warm up. We finish off with cool down stretches, and we can add P&F and developmental stretching in there as well. Additional exercise or activities recommended to do outside of the gym, so you can add little stuff in as well. A lot of people do fitness outside of the gym these days, so football, netball, karate, anything like that. So if you're looking to add them, it might be recommendations is to walk to work twice a week, or go for a walk with the family at the weekends. So them little things, increasing activity, that sort of way, using the stairs instead of an elevator, etc. So, week 8, we have the training regime as well. So what we look at is, we look at how do we adapt our first program to our second program. So what I might do, I'd keep the warm-up the same, to be honest, because it'll warm up to warm up. Dynamic stretches, potentially the same as well, unless we're looking to focus on the different muscle areas. And then the one thing what I've changed is interval training. So I've added an interval training instead of continuous training, because it does spike our heart rate a little bit harder, it pushes us and challenges us a little bit more. The resistance training, what I might look to do is add more training systems rather than changing too much stuff. But then cool down and the stretching side of things, again, would maybe stay the same, depending on how well or how much I needed support with. Okay? Then you'd have to work for all of these requirements just to make sure that you pass that unit. Other than that, that is our unit 3. Thank you for watching today's video. If you liked, please subscribe, and if you want to see any more videos, please press the notification bell. Thank you and have a good day.